Imagine this. It's Friday night. Your friends cancel the plan, and instead of feeling disappointed, you feel relief. If that sounds familiar, something very interesting might be happening inside your brain. We have been told that staying in is a symptom of laziness, a lack of ambition, or a life being wasted while the world happens out there. Society treats the four walls of your home like a cage, a place you only go to sleep before rushing back into the noise. But for a specific group of people, these walls are not a prison, they are a power plant. While the world celebrates the hustle, science is beginning to realize that the people who refuse to leave their houses might actually be the most emotionally intelligent among us. You know the feeling. That moment on a Friday afternoon when a plan gets canceled, and instead of feeling FOMO or disappointment, you feel a wave of pure, unfiltered relief. You're not lonely. You're finally free. But why? Why does a quiet room feel more alive to some of us than a crowded street? Why does the idea of going out feel like a professional obligation rather than a reward? In the next few minutes, we are going to dismantle the stay-at-home stigma. I'm going to show you the hidden biological survival mechanism behind your boring Friday night. And by the end of this video, you will understand why your craving for solitude is actually a sign of a highly sophisticated nervous system. If you have ever felt like you were broken because you would rather read a book than go to a party, you are about to feel very, very seen. To understand the homebody, we have to look past the personality and look at the hardware. It starts with something called Optimal Arousal Theory. Every human has a baseline for how much external stimulation they can handle before their brain starts to shut down. Think of your energy like a battery. For an extrovert, being around people is the charger, the noise, the lights, the unpredictable social cues. That is what fills them up. But for the homebody, social interaction is not a charger. It is a high-drain app. Every "how are you?" every forced smile at a coworker, every loud siren in the city is a withdrawal from your biological bank account. Psychologists have found that people who prefer staying at home often have a more sensitive amygdala, the part of the brain that scans for threats and environmental changes. Out there, the world is an assault. You are constantly decoding body language, navigating physical space, and managing the performance of being a person. This is why, when you finally turn the key in your front door, you do not just arrive, you exhale. This is not just about being an introvert. It is about internal self-presence. Research suggests that people who love staying at home often have highly active internal worlds. Their imaginations, their memories, and their internal dialogues are so vivid that they do not need external noise to feel stimulated. Your mind is a studio of imagination. You can stare at a window, sip a warm drink, and experience a level of fulfillment that others have to travel across the world to find. Their hearts beat faster in crowds. Yours beats steadier in the silence. There is a deeper, more psychological layer to this preference: control. If you look at the history of people who prioritize their home life, you often find a common thread. For many, home is the first place in their entire life where they finally feel in total control of their environment. If you grew up in a chaotic household, or if you spent years walking on eggshells to please others, or even if you just work in a high-stress corporate environment where you are constantly at the mercy of someone else's schedule, your home becomes your sovereign territory. Inside these walls, you are the architect of your own peace. You control the lighting, you control the playlist, you choose exactly who is allowed into your energy field and who is not. This is not avoidance, it is autonomy. In a world that demands you be a certain way, 24/7, home is the only place where you do not have to perform. You can be messy, you can be silent, you can be weird, and most importantly, you can be tired. Think about the modern live your best life culture. It is all about the after photos, the travel reels, and the constant movement. But there is a quiet bravery in choosing the unseen life. It is the ability to find meaning in rituals, the morning coffee routine, the way the light hits the floor, at 4 p.m., the sound of a page turning. These are not small things. They are the building blocks of a life lived with intention. Society treats solitude as a tragedy. We see a person eating alone at home, and we think, poor thing, they must be lonely. But there is a massive difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is a gap that needs to be filled. Solitude is a fullness that needs to be protected. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in human history did not happen in brainstorming sessions or crowded workshops. They happened in rooms, just like yours. Isaac Newton, Emily Dickinson, Nikola Tesla. These were people who understood that the noise of the world is often just a distraction from the signal of the mind. When you remove the pressure to socialize, your brain enters what is called the default mode network. This is the state where your brain makes connections between distant ideas. It is where creativity lives. If you are a homebody, you have probably noticed that your best ideas do not come to you when you are out at dinner with friends. They come to you at 2 a.m. when the house is silent and you are in a thought spiral. You are not doing nothing when you stay home. You are processing, you are healing, you are becoming. But we have to talk about the shadow side, because I promised you the truth. Is it possible that what protects you can also trap you? This is a question we rarely ask ourselves. Are you staying home because it nourishes you? Or are you staying home because you are afraid to be seen? There is a fine line between a sanctuary and a cage. If the idea of leaving your house fills you with genuine panic, rather than just a preference for peace, it might be time to look at whether you are protecting your peace or hiding from your potential. You can be safe and still growing. You can have a quiet life and still have a big, bold impact on the world. Before we move into the final part of this script, I want you to stop and think. Which one is it for you? Type sanctuary in the comments if your home is where you truly come alive, or type growth if you are working on stepping out more this year. Let us see where this community stands. Here is the secret the party people will never understand. Homebodies do not hate people. We actually love them more deeply than most, because we have a limited social battery. We do not waste it on shallow. We do not have time for small talk about the weather or status symbols. We want authenticity. If you are in a homebody's inner circle, you are there for a reason. You have been vetted. You have been deemed emotionally safe. When a homebody chooses to spend their precious energy on you, they are giving you something far more valuable than a night out. They are giving you their focus. They notice the sigh you try to hide. They notice the message you did not send. They understand the strength behind your silence, because they live in that silence every single day. This is the hidden strength of the quiet life. You are not missing out on the world. You are curating your own world. You are choosing quality over quantity. You are choosing depth over noise. In a society that is constantly screaming for attention, there is something incredibly powerful about the person who can sit in a room alone and feel completely whole. So, the next time the world tries to convince you that you need to get out more, or that you are being antisocial, remember this: rest is not laziness. Stillness is not failure. Silence is not a void. It is a teacher. The people who love staying at home are the ones who keep the world grounded. You are the observers, the thinkers, the ones who realize that life is not lived in the loud, flashy moments, but in the quiet, steady ones. You do not need 100 people cheering for you to know your value. You just need to know that when you close your eyes at night, the person looking back at you in the mirror is someone you actually like spending time with. If this video felt like a conversation you have been having with yourself for years, if it made you feel like you do not have to apologize for who you are, then you belong here. We dive into the psychology of the things the world ignores. Go ahead and drink your coffee slowly. Keep building that garden in your mind. Keep protecting your peace. Because at the end of the day, the people who love staying at home are the only ones who truly know how to make the world feel like home. Thank you for being here in the silence. I will see you in the next one. Subscribe if you are ready to master your own mind.